Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back with another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are recording Wednesday, January 15th. We're going to talk about Celtics Raptors today. That game is later tonight. As we're recording this, it was last night as you guys are hearing this, and we'll see what happens. Sam, how you doing?
Doing okay. I could be miserable if they lost to the Raptors. If they lost to the Raptors and you click this video, you're a warrior, and you guys are going to get a treat. Because if they lost to the Raptors, we're approaching they've embarrassed me for the last time territory. But aside from that, we'll go through your emails today, go around the NBA, look at the standings, go through the latest on Jimmy Butler per usual now, and we'll address some other rumors around the NBA. Then we'll do the rat list. Should be a fun show. Subscribe, leave a like, comment, hit the bell. We're here every day, full pods, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday.
Yes. Let's not waste any time. We'll jump right into Celtics Raptors for you guys right now. All right, we are here after the Celtics 110-97 loss to the Toronto Raptors. Traveled up north for a little one-game road trip. Took an L in the meantime. They're flip-flopping. Thunder lost, Nuggets win, Kings lost, Pelicans win, Raptors lost. We're going back and forth, so hopefully that means something good for Friday. But right now, ugly showing, not great on either end of the floor. And the Celtics lose another.
I don't know if this is the worst loss of the season because the Kings game was awful.
I think this is worse than the Kings game, but we can discuss.
You said worse than?
Mm-hmm.
This game fucking sucked. Like, plain and simple. It sucked when it was close. I could make a long list of things I would rather do than watch Celtics Raptors. Just in general.
I think
with the result,
just don't like watching the Celtics play bad teams, which is fair, but
Celtics
I'm noticing
Raptors
a trend.
has been fucking awful this year.
Okay.
Has it not?
I'm not saying this was a good game. The Celtics played like dog shit, but I feel like you should have it out for Toronto.
I would rather go for a run in the rain. I would rather go to a family gathering. I would rather lose a game of rec on 2K while my friend yells at his 5-year-old kid on the microphone. I would rather probably read. I'd rather read all the Kendrick tweets on Twitter when he drops a new album. I'd rather watch all the Instagram videos.
You made your point.
Me.
We're going to 30 seconds of the bit. I get it. Yes. Okay. I get it. Yeah, no,
the Celtics clearly feel the same way as I do.
Sure. The Celtics did not play good in this game, obviously. The offense was ugly. If Tatum or Pritchard didn't have the ball in their hands, or Porzingis too, but I mean in terms of offensive initiation, like Porzingis did a great job scoring the ball. But like if you needed somebody to initiate the offense in this game, if it wasn't in Tatum's hands or Pritchard's hands, you were cooked. There's nothing that was going to happen. They got shredded on defense, whether it was threes to open the game or transition in the middle of the game or just pick and roll, 2-man actions, whatever it was, to get easy paint shots late in the game in the third quarter and the fourth quarter. Jakob Poeltl didn't miss a shot. He was 8-8. RJ Barrett cooked him again. He had another 8 assist game. Scotty Barnes cooked him 9 assists. Like Raptors finished with 35 assists to the Celtics 24. It was just a terrible, terrible, terrible game. And the reason I said it was worse than the Kings game is because at least in the Kings game, I understood what was happening for a lot of it. Like they gave up a lot of open shots. That was part of the game plan. And I can disagree with that game plan all I want. But in this game, it just looked like they weren't trying for like long periods. And I didn't feel that as much in the Kings game. Like I didn't feel the issue in the Kings game was a lack of effort. I felt it was a lack of communication. It was a lack of rotations. It was like whatever. This game was, I don't think they tried hard enough for a lot of this game because they were getting lost off the ball. Like the Raptors were sinking to the corner, coming up from the corner, and the Celtics were lost. They weren't helping over on the weak side when they got stuck in a 2-man action. Like it was just a lot of stuff that was like, what are you guys doing? Like it was so much more focused than execution, at least in my opinion, in this game. And then the offense felt lazy at times too. Like I said, if it wasn't Tatum drawing 2-3 bodies and kicking to an open shooter, or Payton Pritchard making something happen himself, it's just a bunch of guys standing around doing nothing. So that's why I think this one was worse, because this one felt more like we're playing the Raptors, who fucking cares, which clearly you feel too. And they played like, and that's why I say it was like this.
So One thing that stuck out to me in this game, this is probably like a weird thing to like bring up off the top of my head, like first thing I really mentioned about the game. Celtics dead in the fourth quarter, by the way. 15 points for the whole quarter. Terrible. They've been terrible in the fourth quarter in a lot of their recent losses. They're like kind of still in it. Like I think they're down 10 or 11 with like 4 or 5 minutes left. And the shot that they get is a Payton Pritchard logo 3 early in the shot clock. Payton Pritchard was very good in this game. You talked about it. He was like their spark plug when they started flat. He comes in the game. Celtics are winning by the end of the first quarter. You can't get a better shot than a logo 3 when you're trying to
no one's moving.
dig yourself out of a hole.
Exactly. That's my point. No one was moving on offense. Like there was this little stretch after they put Pritchard into the game where everything was flowing, the offense looked back to normal, and then they just went back to like, all right, if Pritchard Tatum's not doing anything, whatever, it's fine. And obviously KP2, but like I said, most of his stuff was off the ball, making moves off of others. It was just an ugly, like lazy offensive game, and I think what you said, embodies that.
I mean, just a fucking brutal watch, man. I think one of the reasons I really don't like watching them play bad teams is just because, like, it's one of those, like, no-win situations. It's like they win the game. It's like, whatever.
Sure.
They lose. It's like, how the fuck they lose to the Raptors? As you guys will hear later in the pod when Jack and I talked earlier today, I was like, man, fuck this game. And Jack was like, well, the Raptors are better than their record says because they're healthy now. And I mean, listen, like they played a good game. Like Jakob Poeltl was real good. Scotty Barnes was good in this game. RJ was good in this game. Grady Dick had a stretch in this game where he was really good. Off the bench, Chris Boucher was a plus 13. Big impact guy, Chris Boucher with 9 rebounds. But man, I don't know how you fail to show up consistently, time and time again. It's got to be something in their head at this point where, like, just look at Derek White as an example. Derek White, 1 of 7 from 3 in this game. I think that makes him, what was he, 0 of 14 from 3 before he made the 1? So he's got to be like one of his last 21 from 3. I feel like the whole team is going through like a mental slump where they just can't break out of it, because it's very easy for us to sit here and be like, you can't beat the Raptors. The Kings game wasn't a wake-up call for you. I mean, you would have thought like almost fumbling to the Pelicans would have been like a good, like, hey, like you're still not playing good enough. Yet they still come out there and do the same shit and play uninspired basketball against teams that aren't necessarily like threatening teams. And that's all good and fine, but it's a brutal watch, and it makes you question whether or not they're going to be able to flip a switch. When the talk becomes flip a switch, I feel like that doesn't really spell well for the things to come down the road.
Sure. I mean, listen, I personally don't give a shit if they're playing a good team or a bad team. Like, I don't care. It is what it is. There's 30 teams in the NBA for a reason. They're all different states. I care about if they're trying or not, and they just haven't been trying lately, it feels like. Like, everything has looked like they are bored or don't care or are forgetting that they're playing professional basketball for stretches. Like, and there were like some flashes of, okay, this is cool in this game. Like I thought Tatum's passing was fucking awesome in this game. He was drawing to and making the right pass. It felt like every time he touched the basketball, he shot like shit. He was what, 2 of 6 inside the arc, right? He wasn't efficient, but I thought he was like one of the like best offensive hubs in the league in this one. Payton Pritchard was awesome, right? He was really good. Porzingis looked great, but the starting lineup is dog shit right now. They are unplayable. Minus 23 Jaylen Brown, minus 17 Kristaps, minus 29 Derek White, who got usurped by Pritchard for starter minutes, minus 13 for Jrue Holiday. Meanwhile, the bench, plus 6 Pritchard, plus 1 Horford, which doesn't sound like much, but it's better than minus 29 and 17, plus 7 Cornette. Like, there is very clearly a problem with this starting lineup. And honestly, it feels like the problem we thought we were going to see at the start of last season, which was there are so many mouths to feed that when one mouth isn't getting fed, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to fucking stand there and not help, not do little things. And I don't know if that's because they're just getting used to playing with Porzingis again. And maybe this is why they need to put, test out Porzingis on the bench, because these slow starts are killing them. They're killing them. Right? Like the Raptors started off 15-5 were just immediately off rip. Like the Celtics couldn't get a bucket. They were moving in mud. And it's just like, listen, I'm still, and maybe people are getting mad at this. I'm still not at the point where I'm like, oh my God, they suck, right? I still refuse to believe that, because I will not believe that until I see them actually not trying the playoffs, which again, I just don't believe will happen. Like, we haven't seen that happen since the 2023 postseason, right? So it sucks that we have to wait X amount of months to actually see what this team's about. But right now, they don't give a shit. And the starting lineups needs something to be fixed, because it's not working. The lineups with Pritchard look good. The lineups with Tatum look good. The lineups with Horford look good. Derek White was played off the floor in this game. He was a minus 29. He played 21 minutes to Pritchard's 30. Right. Sam Hauser can't hit anything. Jaylen Brown was pretty useless for most of this game as well. Drew Holiday was fine, especially at the end, but he kind of stat padded when he made all those little layups inside. But he was 5 of 11, so minus those 2, he's like, what, 3 of 9? It's just a bad game. Everyone played like shit for the most part.
This doesn't really feel like a game recap topic, but is it time to like be a little bit concerned about Jalen?
Maybe. I mean,
I feel like
he's just been bad.
Jalen has just been consistently underwhelming. Like during like this stretch in particular, he feels like he's the one that like, I don't think he's like intentionally disconnected. I don't think he's mentally checking out or anything. But it feels like he is the one getting affected the most by I mean, he took the most shots on the team tonight, by the way. But he seems to be the one feeling the most of, I don't really know what my place is. Sometimes it's just like, hey, my turn to do something. And I feel like this year we're not seeing the Jalen's turn possessions do anything for the team. Last year we saw a lot more of him getting to his spots and knocking down the middies. I feel like that's a rarity now. He's not really doing that anymore. And that's a concern, because that was one of the most effective things about him.
Yeah. I was really excited early in this game because they did that little backdoor cut with KP, and like Jaylen Brown ran backdoor. I was like, oh shit, we're going to see something. And then he just didn't do anything for the rest of the game. Last 5 games for Jaylen Brown, he's played 4 of them. So let me go back one more to get his last 5 games. We'll just do last 4 because he got hurt for a little bit. Jaylen Brown's last 4 games, 20 points, 5 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 turnovers, 45 from the field, 14% from 3. It's just
that's average.
Like, yeah, in his last 4 games, it's just like, like it's not great. The 3 turnovers are pretty rough, and I don't know. It just they feel so disconnected on offense right now. Like they're playing. Here you go, you do something. Here you go, you do something. And when it's Tatum, it works. You saw it tonight. He had 7 assists, and he probably should have had 15 assists in this game. Like they smoked so many open shots.
Yes.
But when Jalen had the ball, like there were a couple of times in there where he just dribbled in traffic and fumbled and lost it, like a la Game 7 Miami Heat 2023. Like it was just not good. Porzingis was good for another silver lining if we want to do that. 18, 8, 3, a lot better on defense after the first possession of the game where he looked like he was a deer in headlights on defense. So that's good. But again, it just feels like, oh look, Porzingis had a good game, but the entire lineup around him was awful. So how good of a game was it? Like that's what it feels like right now.
I feel like there's a part of this whole arc that is the Celtics have beaten the video game, winning a championship last year, and there's less motivation to like do all the things, like do all the side quests, right?
Most title teams go through these slumps, by the way. Like this is a normal thing. It just sucks because Celtics fans are so used to not seeing this.
Well, that was what made last year's team great, was like it didn't really matter who they were playing on a night-to-night basis. Like that was a huge thing, a huge theme that Joe Mazzulla would always speak on. And he hasn't really been able to preach that this year because his team shows up sometimes, depending on who they play. Like you can just ask me, Sam, do you care about this game? Yes or no? That'll dictate whether or not the team cares. I feel like we're actually all pretty in sync on that. We're all one like hive mind. And when they don't care, it is ugly. These games suck.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like I said, a lot of title teams go through this. Like look at the Nuggets last year; they struggled for a lot stretch of the season. You look back at the Warriors after they won. Obviously, they lost some pieces. Like it happens. You get bored after you win a title. You get a taste of the mountaintop. It's hard to climb all the way back up there and do all the work again to get all the way back up there. It's why we haven't seen a team win 2 titles in a row in going on 7 years now. So it sucks. It's frustrating to watch. Obviously, you want to see the Celtics snap out of whatever shit they're in, but maybe it's just a process thing. But before we keep going, I do need to tell you guys about PrizePicks, which is the best place to get real money sports action. 10 million members, billions of dollars in awarded winnings. I pick more or less on 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000x your cash. Same as I use PrizePicks on the pregame when we are not losing horrendously like the Celtics are currently, which has been, it's a tough stretch for all of us because we haven't played PrizePicks in a while because we're not very good at it. My roommate did pretty good on PrizePicks in some of the NFL wildcard games, so you can be like him and make sure to check it out. That said, basketball season is heating up. PrizePicks is the best place to get real money action while watching your favorite sports. Like I said, you can win up to 1,000x your money on PrizePicks. It also now offers MasterCard for quick and easy deposits into your account this sports season. So make sure to check it out. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. It's hard to diagnose what exactly is going wrong with the Celtics. I think it's a lot of things. I think the offense, especially in this game, was super stale. And I mean, I say only, but they took 46 threes, which is about average for them right now. They made 35% of them, which is whatever. But then on their other, 45 attempts, they made 20 of 45 on twos. Pretty bad. Pretty not good for where you want to be. And so it just, I don't know. It just felt like
Missed
their
a bunch
offense
of free
was
throws.
completely unfocused. Missed a bunch of free throws. Yep, of course. If they made them all, they still would have lost, which is something even worse. And then the defense is really what did it for me, man. The Raptors had a cakewalk and a red carpet rolled out for them. They were at the fucking Grammys when they wanted to get into the paint in the second half. It was just so bad.
I mean, what did they shoot? 10 of 11 to start the third quarter? It was like
77%, yeah.
What do you want out of us? The Celtics said. They're making all the shots. There's nothing we can do, possibly. I've just had it. For like this stretch of the season has been terrible. They've given you nothing to be excited about. They're not excited. These games, like the billing that these games are meaningless feels more and more real with the way that the team goes out there and handles their business. These are situations where you should be looking to make up ground in the standings. If you really care about that, not everyone cares. The players probably don't look at the standings every single day, but you just lost a game to the Knicks today after, pulling away over the last 10 games because the Knicks beat the Sixers tonight. So you lost ground there. And I don't know if the Cavs are playing tonight or not, but I'm sure they would have beat the Raptors. They would have showed up and tried against the Raptors. That's for sure. That's what the Cavs do. They care about the games they play.
They care about regular season basketball. It's true. It's because they haven't had the taste of any success outside of that. And that's not a shot at the Cavs. It is just probably what literally is happening right now. It's the Cavs care because they haven't won in the playoffs. And so they're like, we need to get there. So we're going to go full out the whole year. The Knicks haven't won shit in the playoffs. So we're going to go full out. We're going to try our best. And we're going to figure everything
so
out.
They should play make-believe.
It's hard, man.
They do get paid for all you too.
I know. It's just like mentally they see what they can do in the playoffs, and it's a long road to get there. And so we're gonna get there, but we'll just get there by whatever mean is the least energized we can get.
Well, Jack, if they had Lonnie Walker, they would have won.
Clearly, you should see some of the shit. So Keith Smith on Twitter, one of my favorite times to follow Keith Smith is after a night like this. So we're just gonna go through Keith Smith.
I saw one of these.
We're just gonna check it out because a lot of the times it is just morons panicking and he gives it light. Let's see. I'm gonna start from the start. So he's talking about the game. And he goes, what point is it no longer a bug? Which, fine, fair question. He says, the issue is we've seen almost every defending champ go through this. You don't climb Everest and go right back up the mountain. Sure. Definitely not a funk anymore. It's been about 2 months that they've been playing horrible. I don't know what the plan is, figure it out. It's been rough, but we don't need to exaggerate. It's about a month of uneven play and a 7-7 record. We also need to throw away the first 26 games where they were 20-5. Even at a 500 month, they still have the third best record in the league. Also true. Now, here we go. Lazy. Open lanes at the rim, coverage falling apart. There's got to be something going on in the locker room. It'll come out. You listen to too much sports radio. It's true. Time to call Miami. And now we get to the moronic stuff. Now we get to the idiots. I agree to disagree. I think locker room discussion is a very valid point. Nope, not at all. Couldn't disagree more. And then we get the Jimmy Butler edits. And then we get to, you really think Tillman, Cornette, and Cade are legit rotation players? And then we get to just, do you think that maybe Tatum and Holiday and White could be okay? This is fine. This is a fine comment. But just, we get a lot of morons coming out when the Celtics lose a few games. So I'm very curious to see what our comments are.
I mean, the Patriots finished their season not long ago.
It's true. The Celtics actually picked the worst possible time to be asked.
They did. Yeah. Which is even more insufferable.
I don't know, man.
The rest of us.
It does feel like the ball movement and everything has slowed down a lot since Porzingis has been back. Like I said, and we explained this in the video if anyone actually watched it. It's not his fault. Like, he individually is playing fine, but I think the presence of Porzingis naturally slows down the pace and just like puts the Celtics in a place where they're like, okay, accepting, we're just going to go to this matchup. That'll be the offense. Or we're just going to do this. That'll be the offense. Or we're just going to kick it to Porzingis. That'll be the offense. And you didn't see that as much tonight, but there weren't enough other people making shots to make up for the fact that they didn't put him down. It was bad, man. And the defense wasn't great, and the Raptors still only put up 110, but the defense was still dog shit. So, they just kind of suck right now, and that's all I got for you. Maybe that's the highest tier of analysis I can offer. They just kind of suck right now.
Yeah, and nobody gives a fuck.
They just suck. So, we'll see. Let us know what you guys think down below the game, and we'll throw it over to the rest of the show. All right. Thank you guys for listening to Celtics Raptors. Hopefully it was entertaining, although I don't know. I will say the Raptors are healthy this time around, so it will be a significantly different game, at least in terms of the on-court play. Maybe same result. I mean, I know you'd love a same result as last time they played the Raptors, but
that was like the worst game ever. I don't know. There's no winning with this like kind of game. Like, both teams know what they want going into it. There should be a handshake where they don't even play.
Why was it the worst game ever? I thought you'd be happy.
The blowout was a snooze fest. Terrible game. That was the day I stayed home, and I was like, sharpest play ever, not going to this game.
Would you rather that, or would you rather the overtime Jakob Poeltl game?
At least the overtime game's like entertaining. I don't know. There's like narrative-based things in my head that are like, it's more fun to bitch about, like if they had to go to overtime against them and they still won, like at this point of the season, rather than blowing them out. I don't know.
I see. It's ironic because they get in a close game and we're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You get in a fucking blowout win.
It's better
like,
content.
Boring. Fuck you. This sucks.
Better content.
Anyways. All right, let's go to the email here. Reminders, as always, you guys can email us at hbtcpod@gmail.com. That's hbtcpod@gmail.com. We got one today. Sean, explaining his previous email, says, in my last email, I was basically giving my opinion on how I think we need Lonnie Walker and how, yeah, I know Pritchard is having a good year, but he's been on a slump right now, and I believe someone like Walker could make it up or easier for him to score. And the 9-man rotation subject, yeah, I understood most teams use 9, but when we got guys like Kata and Tillman, we might as well use our resources, especially since Horford is up in age, Holiday getting there, and Tatum and Brown have been going deep in the playoffs since they entered the league and won a chip last year. I think the rotation needs to be a little bit deeper, especially because it seems like they're dealing with injuries. I can agree with that to a degree. I just don't think it's abnormal for them to use 9-man. I think maybe if you wanted to even get a look at other pieces, I get it. Lonnie Walker, if you're worried about Payton Pritchard's slump, Lonnie Walker is currently shooting 40% in the Euro League. So I don't know if that is the solution we're looking for. This is not at you, Sean. This is at everyone who seems to think that he is like the answer to everyone's problems. He is shooting 42% in the Euro League, and in his last 13 games in the Euro League games, because half of this was in the 7 of his games were in the LKL where he shot really good, but since he's gotten to the Euro League, he's playing 22 minutes a game, shooting 12 shots a game, shooting 39.5% and 36% from 3. Now everyone's going to look at the 40% number on Real GM in his 20 games, but that's because he was red hot in the LKL, shooting 54%, but then he's 36% from 3 since going to the EuroLeague. So it's almost
how many
like
EuroLeague games has he played?
13.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
it's
still like
almost
fair,
like
fair sample
he's
size.
it's almost like he's a streaky scorer who's not going to give you consistent, efficient scoring, which is what I said when we saw his net splits that look good, but weren't actually consistent.
I like Evil Jack.
It's just, dude, it's not even evil. It's just nonsensical. It is people like bored. It is people who are bored and want to see something new. Like it's not actually a solution. It is people who are bored and want to see something new in a Celtics uniform, which I get, but it's just not the answer.
It's just funny because ultimately Lonnie Walker on the team, Lonnie Walker not on the team, doesn't matter. Makes no difference.
Does not matter.
And this is more towards the people that are like, they need him. If he's on the team, he's probably not going to play. It could be cool. You can like buy like one of the t-shirt jerseys for Lonnie Walker, so you can have that. But he's probably not going to play. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. I will say, to Sean's actual point, though, I think he raises a good one with these guys could use a little bit less of a workload considering how many seasons now they've played deep into the playoffs in a row. And, you know, as a team, the Celtics have dealt with nagging injuries this year. Not serious things, not impact injuries, just things that like are wear and tear. Drew's shoulder, Jalen's hip. I think Jayson had a knee thing that was just like a tendonitis thing. Drew's had tendonitis somewhere else. I think that if they had a little bit more, it's not if, it's just like they could benefit from that because when the playoffs come around, you don't want these nagging things to keep popping up because these injuries aren't even significant enough for them not to play. It's just they're out there playing worse because they're not comfortable. They're playing through discomfort. You don't want that.
Yeah, no, and I do think there is a point to where you're this early in the regular season or this point in the regular season, you could stand to look at some of these rotation guys a bit more, like see what Cato looks like in some lineups, see what Tillman looks like again, even Springer or Shireman, or like you have like guys up and down the roster who could potentially play. And for what it's worth, we didn't put it in the sheet. Me and Bobby Manning were at an event where Tillman talked, and he actually gave some really good insight into like why he is struggling like shooting. Like we asked him like, basically, why are you struggling to shoot the ball effectively in other terms that aren't so direct and, you know, confrontational? But he was like, he said, let me find the quote. He said, my whole career, where is it? So for me in my career, I've never been a shooter. So now coming over here and that being asked of me, it's a challenge. And I said, like, mentally, like, why is that? Like, how difficult is that? He said, it's really hard. It's actually hilarious because there'd be so many opportunities where we'd be in a live read and I would do that. I would catch it. And the guy would close out and I'd go right by him. And then they'd stop the drill after I made the layup and they say, no, you're supposed to shoot that. And I'm like, what? I had him. And they're like, that's not the point. The point is to be an unconscious shooter. So he's basically talking about like it is such a weird switch up, like to be just like shoot the ball, because I've never done that. So I think it was pretty good insight into like why we're seeing what we're seeing out of Tillman, which is he's got to fucking shoot the ball.
Did you see the picture I sent of the two of you?
Yes, it's very cute.
I just woke up that day and went on my YouTube on my phone to see how our video was doing. And I'm also subscribed to CLNS for those listening. And they posted the clip of Tillman doing media availability at the community event. And the only media member that is in the shot is Jack. And it's just Jack looking at him.
It's just because me and Bobby Manning were the only ones there, and he's obviously holding the fucking camera. So it's just my dumbass sitting there.
No. I'm not saying like
no, I know.
There's anything to it. It's just funny that you happen to just be opposite the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least new Twitter header, Jack, or are you going to keep the Derek one?
I don't know if it'll crop like well. Let me see. I gotta look.
You're going to have to not do the one that I sent because mine has captions and the timestamp.
Yes,
there,
that's what I was going to say.
That's the problem.
Wow, I didn't realize how blatant it was. It literally just is me hanging out.
Two buds hanging out.
Two fucking octo eyes over here. 4 eyes and 4 eyes.
I mean, the confidence thing is so interesting from Tillman, though, because I've talked about it with you on the show plenty. It's just like when you're put on an island like that and asked to convert on these threes, even if you're wide open. It's such a high pressure thing when the opportunity is such low volume. Good luck. I'm rooting for him. He's definitely put in the work. Jack and I can tell you when we get there early before these games, he's out there making the reads just like Jack said, and he usually looks pretty good shooting them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's just got to take them. But anyways, before we jump over to the NBA section, I need to take a second to tell you guys about Gametime. Gametime is the best place to buy your tickets. It's the best website to do it. And use code CLNS if you'd like to use it. And we're going to jump right over here and look at a game that is topical for me because I was just watching the replay of a Duke game. Cooper Flagg's coming to Boston, and he's coming to Boston in like 3 days, which I didn't even realize. He's going to be at BC this Saturday.
Yeah.
It's this
What
Saturday.
time is the game?
It is at 8 p.m. So.
Oh, that sucks. Because
yeah, it is very late, but.
Do the ad read.
Yes.
I don't need to derail the ad read. Sorry.
The cheapest ticket is also $150. So it is quite the pricey ticket to get in there to see Cooper Flagg. But as you can see here, I know it's the cheapest one because it tells me on Gametime with a little flame emblem that is labeled cheapest. These stars over here give you the best deals. That's an amazing deal right there. This is a great deal right here. So it's not quite as good. This is an amazing deal. You can also see the view from your seat on Gametime on the app and on the website as well. Obviously, I'm on the website, but it's great on the app too. You can see everything from your seat view to the exact price you're going to pay because it tells you the exact price instead of hiding fees towards the end of checkout. All of the best features are in the Gametime app. Seat views, like I said, curated deals, on-time ticket delivery, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation protection, all this great stuff that makes sure that you are getting the best deal possible when you're buying your tickets. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
Devastated to learn that this was a night game. I thought it was going to be I knew that I didn't know it was this week, but I remember looking because I knew they were in the same conference. And I was like, I wonder if the Celtics are off the day Cooper Flagg comes up here because I would like to see. And I saw it was on Saturday, and I just kind of in my head assumed that it would be like a 2 p.m. tip or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm staying in Boston this weekend. I could have just went over if it was during the day. We probably could have been like, hey, media, what do you think?
Yeah, well, the Celtics play Saturday.
Yeah, but what time do they play?
7.
Probably can get out of there in time to get to the Garden. If it was at 2.
What? If it was
1.
at 2, I was like,
that's
I
why
thought
I'm
you were
saying
talking about
devastated that it was 8 p.m.
You'd be cutting it close. You'd be cutting it real close if that was the plan, but because it's a 7 p.m. tip, not 7:30, so you'd be cutting.
Get us out of there.
Regardless, let's check in the NBA standings, see what's going on, see where the Celtics stand, see who's above them, see who's below them, all that good stuff. As has been the case all season, and probably will be continuing to be the case for a while now. Cavs still in first place, 34-5, 6 games ahead of the Celtics. Celtics who are in second place at 28-11. Then you got the Knicks, Magic, Bucks, Pacers who are 7-3 in their last 10, rounding out that top 6 in the plan. Heat, Pistons, Hawks, Bulls, and then outside looking in right now, Sixers, Nets, Raptors, Hornets, Wizards. Sixers 2 games out of the Bulls, can't really get out of their own way, even though the Bulls have been losing.
Okay, so fun tidbit to the standings watch. Sixers played OKC on Tuesday. I was looking for content for us today, and I was on Reddit, and I saw a post from the Sixers game, pregame, that says fans are booing the 76ers injury report. They put up the list of Drummond, Embiid, George, and it gets worse up there. Man, that's hilarious that they just booed the injury report. Also, Pistons own Madison Square Garden. 2-0 there this year. Monday's game was incredible. Really fun watch. Cade was excellent again. Beasley made back-to-back big threes. It was a legitimate like playoff type feel in that arena. And it was really cool to see the Pistons play well in that situation. And they're knocking at the door. Hey, Pacers, Pistons are right behind you.
Mm-hmm. They are. They're right there. Pistons are playing really well this season. And Cade's a monster.
He should be on the All-Star team. He's been incredible.
He'll be an All-Star 100%. There's no way he's not an All-Star. He's putting up crazy stats. He'll get it.
I can't wait till he's like popular enough where people turn on him. That's when you know you've made it. Because now everyone's like, this is fun. Like, look at the numbers he's putting up, blah, 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 blah. People turn on you. That's when you know you made it.
Once you get over the crown of, look at this super cool young star, to why the hell haven't you won anything yet? That's where you know. We'll see. We'll see when he gets there. It happens to everybody. Happened to Giannis, happened to Tatum, happened to Jokic. SGA's next. And then maybe Ant, and then maybe
it's crazy that they haven't turned on him yet. SGA.
I get it. Obviously, because it's so easy just to look at the age, but like you look at the differences in how many rosters he's had that have been actually competitive, and just like even though they were the same age, like Tatum and Giannis had more playoff caliber rosters than Shea did at this point. So I get it, like contextually, but it is funny because they are the same age.
Also, pretty impressive that the Celtics have been mediocre for the last 10 games, and they're still better in that stretch than 3, 4, and 5. Like they've gained ground on all those teams, and they've been fucking ass.
Yes, it's correct.
You said that?
No, I didn't. I was just agreeing. Yeah. Western Conference, OKC, sweeping up everything in the West as the Cavs are in the East. They're in first place, 6.5 games ahead of the Rockets. Them and the Grizzlies and the Nuggets are hanging out right there. Clippers, Mavericks at 5 and 6. I almost said Magic. Lakers, T-Wolves, Kings, Spurs in the play-in right now, and then Suns, Warriors, and then you got Blazers, Jazz, Pelicans. But that group of Kings, Spurs, Suns, Warriors is really like a half game between all of them. So they're really scrapping it out for that 9-10 right now. And then for what it's
really
worth,
5 through 12.
5 through 12 is a 2.5 game difference. So you've got a lot of wiggle room in the West right now.
If you could pick, you don't even have to do like the playoffs, just do the play-in. What teams would you put in the play-in in the West? Like for entertainment.
Like for my entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
Who do I want personally, or who do I think would be the most fun? Because I think they're
the most fun.
Weirdly different answers. Most fun would be the Clippers and the Kings not making the playoffs. So it would be Mavs, Lakers, Wolves, Kings, Spurs, Suns, Warriors.
Okay. Now, what's the difference? What do you want?
I would like the Kings to make it because I like the Kings and I like Sabonis and I like De'Aaron Fox. And so I don't really care if the Suns make the playoffs. I'd like them to not make it for entertainment purposes. So they blow it up. And then
it's funny. Yeah. I was about to say the same thing. Like you can look at this from two perspectives, like the actual content, like the actual games that'll be happening during the play-in. But then if you think of the repercussions, the way it's laid out right now is pretty fun. I think if the Lakers fell out, you'd also get that element of like, oh boy, like what's going to happen now? You would have that. There would be pressure. Maybe LeBron would retire, but you would have pressure. I'm not even joking. Like he might be done. Like he's been in the league for 22 years now.
I know. No, you're not wrong, but I like until I see it, he's not going to retire. Like it's just he's
also it's LeBron. I mean, the guy is going to have the biggest circle. He said he doesn't want the Kobe tour, but he's going to have the biggest one ever. He's lying through his teeth saying he doesn't want a Kobe tour.
As much as you might not like it, it is deservedly so. Like, he deserves it.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But okay. I'm like, what are we talking about? If he was retiring, we would know maybe even 2 years in advance. Just in case he has to load manage on some of these days.
It happens. It was funny when Tim Duncan just didn't tell anyone he was fucking retiring. He just left. That's
KG didn't either.
It's a different breed. Jumping into some NBA stuff, the Bucks apparently are back in. They want Jimmy for real. Like actually, they want Jimmy Butler. This is from Sam Amick of The Athletic. Said the Bucks haven't been told by representatives for Jimmy Butler that the Heat star doesn't want to play there. It was originally reported by Chris Haynes that Jimmy told the Grizzlies and the Bucks, or the Grizzlies, he said no, and then Kevin O'Connor added the Bucks also were told no. This is the stupidest one of the bunch because in their current state, there is quite literally no possible legal way for the Bucks to trade for Jimmy Butler right now. It is not a thing. They are a second apron team, which means they have to send out more money than they are taking back, and they cannot aggregate contracts in a trade. And there is nobody on their roster who makes more than Jimmy Butler does. So they literally cannot do it, even if they traded Giannis. However, if they get under the second apron, then they can do it, which means if they like dump Pat Connaughton's contract, they could do it. However, that would then require them to trade a combination of like Chris Middleton and Brook Lopez to get a deal done, which is just like, you want to talk about gutting your core depth, whatever. Like it's so dumb. Like it's not, I think it's dumb and it's not going to happen. It is stupid.
With Brook, how's Brook playing this year? I feel like everything I've seen of Brook Lopez, I feel like he's kind of slipped a bit this year.
Maybe, right? Maybe. However, if you trade Brook Lopez and Chris Middleton for however good or bad they've been playing this season, Brook Lopez this season has been averaging, let's see, 12, 5, and 1.5 on 48-37, right? Not the best. He's not the player he once was.
He's almost identical to last year.
Sure. 2 blocks a game, though. He's still their anchor, whatever.
Yep.
If you trade Brook Lopez, you are left with Giannis and Bobby Portis as your centers. And the center on their roster who has currently played the most minutes per game is Liam Robbins. I don't think that's a viable
Couldn't pick him out of a
rotation for
lineup.
your center.
Unless everybody else in the lineup was like a regular sized human being.
I want you to describe to me what you think Liam Robbins looks like.
I don't even know. I don't know.
Do your best. Just hit me. Just give me any description. Liam Robbins, that's the name. Nothing jumps to your head.
Is he a white guy? I feel like Liam's a white guy name.
There's Liam.
Yeah.
There's Liam. He's just an Australian guy with the mullet. Or no, he's not Australian. He's from Iowa. He's the guy that Giannis said I'm
Quite
giving
different.
my NBA Cup winnings to. Liam got the NBA Cup winnings. He's a two-way guy. Anyways, the point is, I do not think they should trade for Jimmy Butler. I think that is foolish.
The Jimmy thing is really like poison pill is not the right word for it, but like it's pretty tough to envision him moving the needle wherever he goes, unless it's like if you can replace Bradley Beal with him in Phoenix, maybe he just gives you a different look than like Beal's kind of similar to Booker in the play styles. So like having Jimmy might do something for you. Maybe Memphis because he fits with the kind of like
I like Memphis
gritty type thing. But besides that, and even in Memphis, you're going to have to give up
Houston
a couple
too.
things. Okay, Houston. Outside of them, it's tough for me.
I like Dallas, and I know you don't, but I like Dallas.
I don't.
It's not financially feasible, but I think I would like it with Kyrie and Luka. I really would like Denver, but I don't know how they would do it. I would really like Denver, but I just don't think they could get there. So it's a moot.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Unless Can they even trade MPJ in that trade? No, he doesn't make enough money.
Well, they could trade. They're not a second apron team, so they could trade him.
I see. They can combine.
Yeah. So it would have to be like they'd probably have to get your guys involved, the Pistons. Which if I'm the Pistons,
everything runs through the Pistons.
If I'm the Pistons, I'm still looking to take on like something and get picks because like if you can be competitive with your current roster and also get picks for the future, cool, fine, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I don't think this is a year for them to go all in and like make some flashy move, but if they can like grab a couple seconds to take on a shitty-ish contract that's not too long term, why not, right? But in order to send Jimmy to Denver, like, and now I'm just like talking shit, but it would have to look like how would they get there? I'm sending a second out of Detroit just because to make the trade like work in the thing. So they would need to send out $4 more million. And okay, actually, they could get there. They could get there relatively easier than I thought. So if the problem is Denver doesn't have a ton of picks because a lot of these are like cannot be traded, so it would have to be seconds. So if like it just depends on what Miami wants, right? Because if they're like, okay, we'll take a young guy in Julian Strother and then Michael Porter Jr. and then the Pistons take on Zeke Najee's shitty contract for like a second or two. Denver gets Jimmy. Heat get Michael Porter Jr., Julian Strother, and a first or a second or whatever. Nuggets get Jimmy Butler. So like it is possible. I don't know how much the Heat would like that, but it does fall into there. We want to still stay competitive plan because I don't think Michael Porter Jr. is a bad player, but
just depends what Denver wants to do.
Yes.
Denver has proven to be a team that doesn't want to pay people. So do we really think they're going to re-up Jimmy? Probably not.
It's true. Anyways, next thing. Speaking of moves, Steve Kerr is apparently fine with the Warriors roster right now. He said, and this is via 95.7 The Game, which is like a radio station in San Fran. I have 100% faith in our organization to do whatever the right thing is, and sometimes the right thing is to not do anything. Depends on what you're going to do, what that means, and Mike is good at his job. I feel in great hands with him and the whole organization, and they're looking at everything, basically saying, like, I'm good. You know, maybe they'll still be active ahead of the deadline, but I think this is the right approach to take, not only from like a team morale perspective, but from if you act desperate, teams are going to jack up the prices of stuff you want to buy. So I think Steve Kerr is just playing PR / doing the right thing by his team.
Also, like, what are they going to do? They're in a weird spot where they have Curry
guess.
and then like some mediocre role players, and then they have a few young guys that they like. If you're the Warriors, you don't want to gut your young guys to bring in, like, let's just say a Jimmy. Even if you think Jimmy works there, which he wouldn't be like the worst fit in Golden State, I could see how it could work. But that gives you a competitive team for 2-3 years, 3 years at the most, probably. You don't really know how long Steph is going to keep playing for. You don't know how long Jimmy's going to keep playing for. Trying to think who else is out there. Like a Zach LaVine. You're going to get Zach LaVine and move the needle?
Unironically, yeah. Like maybe I think he would move the needle. Zach LaVine is having an unbelievable season. He's playing great. I don't know if that's the guy, but I was actually going to bring up a bowl. Like, if you want to stay short-term, like competitive and not ruin your future, like Vucevic has been a monster this year. Their big man position's kind of messy. So you bring in Vuce, he spaces the floor a little bit, sets some good screens. It's just a matter of what, you would have to give up. I mean, you could get there with like, let me see. Let me double check my math here to see if Golden State could do it. You could get there relatively easily. Like, what would be the other if they give up? If you give up like is he on a two-way? No, he's not. I mean, you give up Gary Payton, Kyle Anderson, Guy Santos, gets you to Nikola Vucevic. And if you're the Bulls and you get to get off Nikola Vucevic, and I mean, there's not much there, but you get a couple smaller salaries. Maybe Kyle Anderson plays himself into being worth a second-round pick, a couple second-round picks. Guy Santos is a young guy. Maybe you ask for a second. Like, they haven't been able to trade this guy anyways, is what I'm saying. So if you
get a free guy, sure.
maybe that's that.
Essentially, you're getting a guy for free in that situation.
Sure.
So, yeah,
I'm just saying there are players around the league who I think would be worth them taking on, but I also don't think it's
I don't really know if, like, not to say Vucevic doesn't improve the Warriors, but I don't know if they have the dog still. Like, okay, outside of Steph and Vucevic, who is it? Who's going to be the person you can kick the ball to? Who?
You need Kuminga. Like, that's the whole thing. You need Kuminga to play better. You need Podziemski. Like, you need your young guys to start being better.
And their young guys have been such a strange...
And Schroeder, weirdly enough, but he's good.
Schroeder, fine, whatever. Their young guys in Golden State have been so strange because Kuminga was billed as this guy with such potential. Like, he has freak athleticism. He's a versatile type player, but it feels like he's got a weird relationship with Steve Kerr. And it feels like since he's been a part of the Warriors, He really hasn't gotten the opportunity that he needs to develop. But at the same time, the Warriors have been bad for some of these seasons too, where he has, like this year, it's not like he's not getting run.
I mean, he's averaging 17, 5, and 2. Like, he's a good player. Like, he's good. He's their like second, third leading scorer. He's playing 26
What's the
minutes
efficiency
tonight.
like?
46, 35.
Yeah. From a forward, I don't know.
It was better last year. Last year was 53, 32. So I think he's just taking more threes, and so it is dipping his overall efficiency. He's shooting worse on twos this year for sure, though. He's shooting 50.2% on twos, and last year was at 58. So I mean that has dipped a little this year, but he's still like, my point is he's playing 26 minutes a night. He's the second leading scorer on the Warriors. Like, it's not like he's not getting run. It's just maybe he wants more. Maybe he wants 30 minutes a night. Maybe he wants some more shots. He's only taking 13 shots, so it is just a little bit weird.
13 shots is not bad.
It's fine.
With all things considered in the NBA. Then you look at the Celtics,
but
it's pretty rare for anybody that's not named Tatum and Brown to get over that hump. Like the rest of like the main bunch, like there's usually like one guy that'll hit it, but the rest of them can like take a step back.
I mean,
on any given night,
I guess Derek White averages 12 shot or 12.8, so he's like right there. Like I get wanting 17, 18. Like I get wanting that. Like, you look around the league at some of like the other young stars that in Kuminga's mind, he's probably like, I have the potential to be player X. I have the potential to be a potential all-star. Like I want the minutes to be able to reach that. And you look at some of these other guys around the league and like their shots per game, and you see, let me just take a look. You see like Brandon Miller getting 18 shots a game, or even RJ Barrett getting 18 shots a game. You see Tyler Hero getting 18 shots a game, Jalen Green 17 shots a game, or whatever. Like, you're looking at that and say, hey, like, I want this opportunity. I want to be able to do this. And maybe you're like, hey, Steve, my turn, please. Can I do that? And I don't know. It's just not there right now. So we'll see.
That's fine.
Whatever.
What are you gonna do?
All right, last, I believe, NBA thing before we jump to the round list is Jalen Williams wants there to be 2 Defensive Player of the Year awards. So he was on the young man in the 3, still weird to call it that, and said, I think there should be 2 DPOYs. I think there should be one for big men and one for perimeter players effectively, because right now it's all based on blocks. And obviously Marcus Smart won it a few years ago, but since then it's been, guess what? All big men again.
That's just how it goes. And listen, that's the point he's making. It's just always been a big dude award. And I suppose
I think it sucks though.
I mean, I think it's sort of stale, but at the same time, just like looking at it from a present perspective, it's gonna be Wemby. Like it's gonna be Wemby for a while. And there's not even like real dispute to that. I think it's like pretty fair to be like, if you watch Wemby play, teams are terrified. Like, they have to change their entire game plan because of Wemby. And he's a rare case of generational talent, like a one-of-one guy. And I think there is real legs to the point of like, wow, it's kind of stupid that it's always big guys. Like you said, Marcus won it a couple years ago, and before him it was Gary Payton, the last guard to win it. There are guys that work their ass off on defense and guys don't want to see. And it probably is a statistical laziness thing when it is consistently a center, because they're like, look at all the blocks. Look at that. You know, I don't know. I think having it be a perimeter award, like if you split it up, paint defensive player of the year, perimeter defensive player of the year, maybe you eliminate that a little bit. I can see
then
it.
It does get confusing though, because then what do you do with Bam? Because like Bam's obviously not like the biggest shot blocker, but he's guarding everybody. So would he be perimeter or would he be the big man? Because if he's playing perimeter defense and guarding guards and switching as a center, then it just gets a little too like
or you split it to backcourt, front court.
Sure. I don't know. I think it'd be cool, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So I think
you see Jalen tweeted about this and was like, facts.
He said agreed. Yeah, he said agreed, and I get it, because there is a point to like, yes, a lot of the time it is bad perimeter defenders being cleaned up and helped out by better like rim protectors, but there's also like bad rim protectors don't have to protect the rim because good perimeter defenders don't let them get there. Like there is multiple layers to everything. And I mean, you heard in Utah for all those years when Rudy was anchoring that defense, it's like he's phenomenal, but imagine how much better they'd be if they had actual guys able to guard the perimeter. Like they'd be an even better number one defense if they had actual perimeter help. So I think it's a balance for sure. But anyways, Rat List, Sam, what do you got?
Rat List. I don't know if you saw this, Jack. Rat List is the family of this kid that Wemby gifted a game-worn jersey to. So the Spurs shared a photo a couple weeks ago on December 27th of a post-game jersey swap with the real Wemby and then little Wemby, who had his own Wemby jersey, and they did a jersey swap. Now, weeks later, the game-worn jersey from that day is available for auction online. Rat List to the family. Can't rat list the kid, obviously. He didn't make an online auction account to sell his own jersey.
Yeah.
And here's like the spin zone, right? Maybe the family's like, oh, we can use the money from this to like put a college fund together or something like that. But at the same time, like you're taking a memory away that could have been like forever. You could have hung that on the wall, framed it, whatever. It's not common for this to happen. It's a cool moment. I guess you'll always have the picture, but you won't have the jersey.
Yeah. It is weird. Like, listen, man, I don't know what the deal is. I don't know, like, maybe that family is in a really bad place financially. Like, I'm not going to sit here and speak on, like, don't do this. What is wrong with you? If they are also, like, dealing with a bunch of shit. Like,
I'm not laughing at that, by the way. One of the comments says, can you blame the kid? It's not even his size.
It's true. He can't wear it around. But it is not a good look optically. So it's like, damn, that's tough.
It just was like a cool moment, cool picture. I mean, the jersey that Wemby is holding in that picture looks like he could put it on like an action figure with how big
Tiny.
Wemby is.
It's so small. I will rat list this menu of a place. So I was out last night and we were at like one place, we got drinks, went to another place, and then we were going to get some more drinks and some food and whatever. We're looking at the menu and it is like, keep in mind, so this is like 8 p.m., 8:30 p.m. maybe. So it is like normal hours. It's normal menu. It is like whatever. Starts fried pickles. Normal. They're really cool. And this is like the most normal bar you've ever seen. It's just like you walk in, it's called like a normal name. It's fine. And it was good. But fried pickles, normal. Fry basket, normal. French fries. You're like, okay, we're getting normal. Hummus. And you're like, interesting. I get it. Sure, why not? Bogey's Wagyu Tartar is the next one on the menu. And then that's when I start to furrow my brow. I'm like, what is this? What are we doing here? Next one, chicken liver mousse. And now you lost me. Now I'm lost. I don't know what's happening. And then Sam, chicken wings. And then you're back in. You're like, okay, sure. And then you got bone marrow, and you lost me. And now I'm gone again. What are we fucking doing? That is the menu. What is this? Why? I had to Google what these foods looked like. When I came here, I wanted some fries and like some normal food, and this is the shit you're gonna give me? This plus a fried burrata. Do you know what that is? Are you familiar?
I feel like I've heard of this before.
Burrata is like slightly more, not liquidy, but it's not quite as stringy mozzarella. It's good. But instead of sticks,
I am aware of this.
Instead of sticks, they just give you a fucking ball of fried cheese, and that's the appetizer.
And you have to share with people.
Yeah, it's just like, what are we doing, man? What a ridiculous fucking menu.
I'm telling you, anytime I go into a place and I don't really know the things that are on the menu, I'm out. I think I talked about this a while ago. Like they had us go out for like a work dinner, and we were at a place that had burrata. I'm looking at the menu. I'm like, what do we even have here? Like, I'm
Yeah.
like struggling to find one thing that I know what it is. Who wants to go out to eat like that?
So
I don't know why
like,
that is like in the category of like luxurious. Who wants that? Go give me the buttered on both sides toast from Raising Cane's. I'll take that instead of whatever the fucking menu is at this point.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, this wasn't like we're looking to have a 5-course meal or whatever. We were just looking to grab a little bit of food while we were like hanging out. But bone marrow, yeah, that's the menu. We went to this place because somebody was like, "Oh yeah, the fries are pretty good." Like I'm like, "Oh, okay." And fries were pretty good. Did not try the chicken liver though. Was not gonna try the moose. So maybe that wasn't it. In case you're curious, the chicken liver mousse is made of togarashi, Marcona almonds, fennel pollen, olive oil, thyme, and toasted country bread as a dipping thing. So in case you're curious, what was in the chicken liver mousse?
I have a real problem with rich people culture, and I know that this wasn't like a 5-star.
This wasn't a rich people place. This was like a bar.
But like, I feel like that sort of culture has influenced some. Is it a newer bar?
Let me see. So
I feel like this sort of thing influences a lot of like newer restaurants or bars where they're trying to be different or trying to be fancy is the wrong word, and edgy is also not the right
2011.
word. 2011.
So that's been around.
So they're trying to be so modern and cool, and like you gotta have all the different things on there. Like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not trying to go in. I already said this, but like I'm not trying to go into a place and have to like Google what I'm reading on the menu. I should be able to look at it and know in my head what it looks like. I know what I'm getting. All the things that you listed as the ingredients, too much stuff in there.
Yeah, and maybe it was my problem. Maybe I didn't realize the place I was walking into, but it looked normal, right? So maybe I got.
Rat List is the Target thief. So I went to Target yesterday with the lady. So we go into Target and we went in to return. So we got each other like the same Christmas gift. So we had to return one of them, whatever. So while we're in there, she wants to get some different things. And we do like an entire lap around the store. And we're by the self-checkouts and she's looking for like one final thing. And we leave the cart and we come back and there's stuff missing. Somebody took stuff out of the cart. If you are like a kleptomaniac and you're addicted to stealing, this is actually like the best thing you could actually do because it's not illegal. You're just being a prick. Like you didn't rip anybody off. Nobody lost money.
Yeah,
we had to go back and find whatever it is that we didn't have anymore.
Yes.
What an insane thing to do.
Yeah, that's very odd.
It would be a good video.
You
just have a hidden camera. It's like the people realizing that they don't have all the things that they. Good thing we weren't like checking out and then had to go back in.
It's true. That would have been worse. Ratless myself. So I don't know if you do this at all. I like itch my leg or my shin with like my other foot. Like I'll just like bring it over, like itch. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know?
I kind of will do that. I've done that with the inside of like my ankle before.
Sure. Yes. So it's mainly when I'm like sleeping or sometimes when I'm at my desk, whatever. I now have lacerations all over my shin because I have cut myself. So I'm going to show the camera without being like,
oh boy.
But ready? Okay. Let me see if the cuts.
This is why you make a Patreon, right?
Yeah.
Here.
Ready? Look at.
Oh my gosh.
I told you. I'm just cutting myself all over the place.
See, I didn't think it was going to be cutting yourself. I just thought it was one of those things. So like, this is weird.
I know what
like,
you're talking about
with
too.
my armpits lately. Like you scratch it, and then it's like, oh fuck, I'm itchy again, and you end up just like you're just kind of like doing this all day or whatever, wherever it is. It could be like your leg or your arm, whatever. It's been the armpit lately. That's what it is for me.
I see. Do you have anything else? I have one more thing. If you have nothing else,
I got nothing else. Go ahead.
Okay, so I don't know if you've seen this video. I've seen it on my Twitter recently. I'm hoping I can pull it up in a way where you won't know what is happening and you can guess what is about to happen.
Okay. You want me to, I'll take the rat off.
Yes, please. Okay. So, and if you've seen it, it's fine. We can still watch the video, but be funny. So the police were called to a grocery store recently in Chicago. And it was because of something that was happening in the store. I need you to guess. So you haven't seen this.
I haven't seen it.
I need to be able to share screen without revealing the thing.
I've actually been living under a rock all week. I haven't even listened to podcasts or anything because I haven't gone to the gym because I'm still sick. So
wait, don't look for a sec.
I'm not
Because I need to
tell me when. I got my eyes covered like a 5-year-old.
Okay, you can look now. You can look. I need you to guess what this police officer is about to pull out of this produce section of this grocery store.
It's got to be a stuck kid.
Turn on social media.
Watch out, man. Watch out.
This video viewed millions of times.
Is that like a mountain?
It's
lion?
a coyote. It's a coyote.
Coyote.
Ready? But watch what he does. Watch what the coyote does.
Yanking the animal by the tail.
It jumps
the produce section of this
back in. It jumped back into the produce
for a quarter century and says they're coyote in a cool
hanging out.
January through March is
ready? Look at this. Look at this. Ready? Watch it jump back in. They pull it all the way out. It scrambles, and then just goes yeet. Fucking jumps back.
I feel like now. Listen, I know police officers probably don't have pulling coyote out of the juice section at the supermarket training. I feel like there should have been some more like planning. Once we get him out, what are we gonna do?
Yes, have a net, have a cage, have something ready. But no,
like they're probably like, wow, we didn't think we'd get this far.
Yeah, they let him rock. But that's all I got. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to Bout Them Celtics here, Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff, and I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment, tell us what you thought of Celtics Raptors. You can hit the bell. Jack and I are here every single day with new videos. Full pods like this one drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up on the channel the morning after each game. And other videos are up here in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. You can also find us doing pregame streams here a half hour before every single game. Ton of fun. Come hang out. You don't want to miss it. You can find us on Spotify and Apple as well. All of our pods and recaps are up there. So if you give us a follow, those will go right to your feed. Leave a 5-star review. We'd appreciate that very, very much. Helps us in the algorithm, helps us reach more people. So if you like us, do us that favor. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. I'm sure you got something to say after the game tonight. We'll be reading those on Saturday as we record for Sunday. hbtcpod@gmail.com. Our socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook is the name of the podcast. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter's at JackSimoneNBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance. And yeah, that's it for us. Bye.
Tic-tac